Layne Staley was, you know, one of the best friends I ever had, and he was magical. Just, he had a real mischievous sense of humor, high intelligence, not to sound too corny or anything, but sort of otherworldly.
Funniest people you'll ever meet, maybe second only to my mother. Quiet, focused, many interests, like any normal kid teased his little sister. Very close to my second child, who they're 3 years apart, but people thought they were twins, and they kind of went through life like that. They thought a lot alike and enjoyed doing things together. And in his Dr. Seuss book, it says all about me, and he said he wanted to be a singer. He was 9 when he filled that out. And I just assumed that he wanted to be a singer like some kids want to be a fireman or a policeman. So I didn't take it real seriously.
Okay, this next song is by Armored Saint. It's called False Alarm.
I play for a rock band called Sleaze, and I mean there's enough controversy on our name, more or less, than our songs. You know, we've just signed with a local record company. I don't feel there's anything objectionable about any of our songs, but I don't feel anyone else has the right to rate our songs. I mean, I'm the only one that has the right to rate, you know, my album. You don't have it.
Hey! Hey, excuse me.
Was shattered, just like glass. As it came close by, he started to cry. He knew that he wouldn't pass go. Enough! Enough! His back's against the wall. He stood, defied, to look him in the eyes. Where are you going? Off on the streets, in a cold little place, a prisoner there, is bound in chains, looking in his
I heard him in it's like some Tacoma Little Theater or something, playing with like Johnny and those guys. You know those. He was really young. We were really young. I think he was probably like 20, 21, or I was maybe about 20, 21. He was younger than me. Yeah, but I saw the first time I heard that guy, and I was in a band in Tacoma, and I'd already kind of played that city. I'd kind of played Tacoma out, and it was time to kind of bump up. And they were a Seattle band and came down and played. And the first time I heard that guy, I was in love with him. It was just amazing. It's like the first time I heard that guy, I'm like, that's the guy I've got to be in a band with, you know.
I can't have you blue.
You gotta get up now. You gotta get up, Sean. We have company. Hey, just put the hat on. You're gonna be fine. Hey, buddy.
I'm the best. Look at that foam.
Third smoke of the day. Gotta start my morning off with a cigarette. See, it's not good. Don't try it at home.
With the heaviest Seattle band, AliceinChains. So, how you guys like LA so far?
It's cool. The smog sucks.
Everybody in the Seattle scene wears Cross Your Heart bras, so there's a lot of support.
They're all there. Every time there's a gig, all the other bands are there. Everyone knows each other. Everyone's friends.
Well, we've been together for just over 3 years now.
3 years?
AliceinChains hails from Seattle, Washington, a city that's been in the rock and roll spotlight as of late. But who is Alice, and why is she in chains?
The name originates from 5 drunk guys forming a thrash band in which they would all dress in drag. And that band never got formed, and I was one of those people. I'm a little lonely, Mike. Why don't you scoot over?
Do your girlfriends worry about the fact that 2 people can fit in these bunks?
2 men, yeah. Yeah, they worry about that.
Across the country, I'm here to exorcise evil spirits out of me, channel, or whatever they do, you know. Something to do with the sap in the trees. Mass death.
Mass
death.
Mass Holocaust.
You know, we're waiting to get back so we get some of that old down-home cooking, you know.
We're Latvian.
I want to see my long-lost uncle, Georgi.
He had saved my life in South America one time. We were touring with Nirvana and the Chili Peppers, and we were playing a big show, a big festival down in South America. And Kurt had taken me into the room, the bathroom, him and Courtney, and we shot up all night. And then Layne didn't know that, and I went to Layne's room, and we shot up, and I had OD'd, and so Layne didn't know that, and so I wake up and I'm all wet, and I'm laying over the toilet. And, I'm in a different room, and I'm all wet, and he had added me in the shower and everything, and I didn't, I was obviously blacked out during that whole time. I was flatlined, and he said, and he's crying, punched me in the face, and I'm like, what's wrong? What did I do? He's like, you were dead for 11 minutes, Mike.
I remember.
Because I went through a shot coke with AliceinChains all night, I don't remember.
When you have a problem with heroin, does it automatically make you think about death because you're playing with your life a lot? Or?
Yeah, I suppose that comes with the territory. You're flirting with death, and that's probably what's most attractive about it at first, is the danger, you know. But I beat it, I beat death. I'm immortal.
Is there anyone out there who still isn't clear about what doing drugs does? This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs.
Heroin? I don't know what all this fuss is about. I could handle it. There's no way I'm going to become an addict. But just do heroin. It's no problem. Look, I've got this thing under control. I've just got to touch a fluid, mate.
Everyone thinks they can control heroin until it starts to control them.
This is Layne from AliceinChains, and you're watching Rage, and I get to be the program director tonight, so you're all in for a whole lot of hell, aren't you? So stick around and watch it, or don't. If you don't, you're a shitbag, so keep watching, alright?
His drug addiction had become all-consuming, and in the run-up to the band's planned summer tour, Staley made an appearance at the KISW Rockstock concert at Kitsap County Fairgrounds in late May of 1994, in which he appeared on stage with Tool to perform the song Opiate. According to the Seattle Post-Intelligencer, Layne looked sickly and wore ski masks to hide his face. According to Rolling Stone magazine, at the band's first rehearsal for the Metallica tour, Layne returned from a stint to rehab and showed up to practice high. It was at that practice that Kinney and Cantrell vowed never to play with Layne again. The band's manager, Susan Silver, would release a statement that the band was withdrawing from the Metallica tour and their Woodstock appearance due to health issues with the band.
It's a Jason song, so he's gonna have to sing it. Is that okay? Get it? Anyway.
The project came together when I was in Minneapolis with our bass player Baker. I was in a rehab and just called up Layne. Baker's been a huge fan of Layne's, and I've known Layne for about 10 years. Called up Barrett and we got together and rehearsed, and things just started happening.
I was in bed and he came in and woke me up and said, "You want to play a show in 3 days with these guys?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. You know, when are we going to practice?" And he said, "Well, we'll practice the night before." The song's called Long Gone Day. Mr. Mark Lanigan. That kind of experience was the most nerve-wracking, scariest experience in my life. We went down and we came up with 2 or 3 songs, which the next day nobody remembered a riff or a lyric or anything. They all stared at me and waited for something to come flying out of my mouth, and in front of all those people, it was, you know, I wasn't sure if I was going to run as fast as I could off the stage and out the door, or if I was going to stand there and try and do it. And I stayed there and I spit something out that fit with the music, and I was more satisfied with the Mad Season record than any other recordings I'd done. You know, I wasn't burned out on any of the songs, so that's the way we kind of chose to do the Alice record.
What are some of the songs, new songs on the new record?
Grind, Brush Away, and Heaven Beside You.
First job? Dishwasher.
Dishwasher.
No, actually first job.
Paper Route.
Yeah, I had the same thing. Paper route. I don't know if that counts as a job though, because you could be like, as long as you can ride a bicycle, they'll give you that job.
Yeah, I don't think I'd call the guy who slams a paper against my door every night a job. I'm gonna give him a job. Every night I jump off the couch. Wham!
Best part about being a paperboy was dumping inserts. That was the
best part about being a paperboy was getting attacked by 7 collies while the owner went, "Grr!" Everyone I was getting interviewed by and the other guys that were searching for a snazzy way to write an insult, you know, and disguise it. And I was just tired of it. Nobody wanted to know about the music. They wanted to know, are you getting fucked up? You know, are you gay? Are you dying of AIDS? It's, you know, I'm usually the last to hear that I'm dying of AIDS or whatever it is.
I remember being surrounded by friends like you guys. You guys were all there, and we had a lot of other friends there too. And you're right, that and the Kiss shows, I think that was it. Knowing that my band's probably over, and you know, knowing that one of my friends might be committed to going out that way, that's a tough thing to live with, and still try to keep that internal and support the group. And also, none of us really wanted to control one another. We just wanted to exist, and if that's where somebody's going to go, then that's what they're going to do. And we all went through that to some degree, and I don't think I was in great shape either. I think I was not feeling too hot either by my own hand. I think that's why all of that is in there, because all of that background that I just described, we were all living in that and knowing that we're coming to the end of it here. Unless something really drastically changes, we're coming to the end really quick. And I think part of that is in that performance.
Can I tell you a story about when I saw them once?
Yeah.
I saw them at MTV when they were taping that Unplugged.
Yeah.
And I guess the singer was so screwed up that he was sliding off the stool that he was sitting on while he was performing. Guy would have to come over and like lift him up and like re-prop him up on the chair.
Right.
Wow. And then he must have screwed up the same song about 50 times. They'd have to stop in the middle and they have to start over because they were taping the show.
When I went to Seattle, I never heard back from him. I called him, never heard back from him. But I know tonight after the show that we're all going to be really great friends and hang out, right, guys?
We'll exchange numbers later if we.
But we can hang out though, right? No. Anyway, AliceinChains.
Hey, let him do it again. Yeah.
Our next guests are a terrific rock and roll band. They're making their first appearance with us here tonight. We couldn't be happier. This is their most recent CD. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. Welcome AliceinChains. Here we go, kids.
Then you got hit, and you shouldn't
meet you. Great job. Thank you very much. Welcome to the show. Thank you, sir. Pleasure to have you here. AliceinChains. Nice going. Thank you very much. We'll be right back, kids.
In April of 1997, an entity known as the Larusta Trust bought a 3-bedroom, 1,500 square foot 5th floor condominium at a building in Seattle's University District for $262,000. Larusta is named for John Larusta, the alias Layne was using at the time. This condo would be Layne's home for the final 5 years of his life. summer or early fall of 1998, songwriter, producer Matt Serlatek and Rage Against the Machine guitarist Tom Morello were putting together a supergroup called the Class of 99 to record a cover of Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall for director Robert Rodriguez's forthcoming sci-fi horror flick The Faculty. They still didn't have a singer. A few names floated, including Zach De La Rocha of Rage Against the Machine. What about Layne Staley? It was kind of an instant yes if he's up for it. Serlatek contacted Sony Records to act as a conduit between them and Layne. Serlatek eventually heard that Layne wanted to do it. I didn't know what to expect, but he looked rough, Serlatek recalled. At this point he had lost most of his teeth. He was incredibly shy. It was kind of a shock to see him. I wouldn't have recognized him. He looked different. He didn't look like himself anymore. Serlatek and his team tried to make it as comfortable as possible for him, and he finally came down to sing at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Layne's lisp was apparent, so Serlatek had to redo some of the material where the letter S was especially pronounced.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. All is always just another brick in the wall.
AliceinChains with Sean and Mike and Jerry, and I guess Layne Staley's about the only one we're missing here right now. Put him on the phone. Layne, are you on the phone?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, welcome to Rockline, man.
How you doing?
Stooley.
Blanche Stooley. Hey.
And Barry, what was the question about the box set?
Is it gonna be the last project you guys will put out as a band together? Hey, we don't put
I would hope not.
Yeah, we don't put out.
We don't put out, pal. You know what I'm saying? We're high dollar hoes.
Yeah.
I think we'll do something else, probably.
There you go, from Layne Staley.
All right, there
you
you
heard it
go.
on Rockline.
Okay, we will.
All 4 members of AliceinChains with us tonight, and we're going to play this demo of Sea of Sorrow. Jerry, you seem to know a bit. Return. Hi, Denise.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
How you doing?
I'm great. All of your songs are completely perfect, but what I want to know is, out of all of your CDs and songs, which one do each of you consider your most successful work?
No, baby. What do you consider my most successful work?
Either way, Forrest and Frusciante went to Layne's apartment to meet with him in Seattle, and according to Forrest, his mind worked, but he was a million miles away. He was playing a video game the entire time they were talking. "Hey Layne, what's going on?" Forrest would ask. "Nothing. I know why you're here," Layne would respond. "Your mom's worried, man. You don't look too good." Layne's appearance, according to Forrest, was that his skin looked like bleach Valium, and his weight dropped below 90 pounds. Now he entered the end stage of the game, Forrest would recall. "I'm okay though, really," Layne insisted. Eventually Frusciante and Forrest would leave. Forrest would tell Frusciante, "I don't think he's going to come out of this. It's his life, man," Frusciante would reply.
Mike would end up going to Layne's condo, and the two would end up watching television on April 4th. Mike would later say, quote, "I was flipping through the channels and stumbled on the John Edwards show Crossing Over, a show that claims to communicate with his audience's late loved ones. While watching Crossing Over, Layne turned to Mike and said, quote, "Demery was here last night. I don't give a fuck if you fucking believe me or not, dude. I'm telling you, Demery was here last night." The two would inevitably end up getting in an argument over Mike Starr's use of benzodiazepines and pills, with Layne Staley claiming that, quote, "You're fucking stupid on these pills, man. You gotta get off this shit." Of course, because of Layne's use of drugs himself, Mike would respond argumentatively regarding Layne Staley's own use of heroin and cocaine, and told him that he would call 911 because of his condition. Layne would then threaten Mike to never talk to him again if he had called 911. The two would continue arguing, and Mike would head for the door, storming out, with Layne Staley stating, quote,
Hey, I'm Ian Robinson with MTV News. The rock world lost one of its more honest voices this weekend when AliceinChains frontman Layne Staley was found dead in his Seattle home on Friday. He was 34. Seattle police say they responded to a call from one of Staley's relatives asking him to check on his well-being since he hadn't been seen in 2 weeks. Police then discovered a body, later identified as Staley, that had been deceased for at least a few days, surrounded by intravenous drug paraphernalia. Exact time and cause of death are still being determined. AliceinChains haven't been an active band in some years, yet they did surface for a session of MTV's Unplugged in 1996 in what would have been one of their final live performances.
The lead singer of the rock band AliceinChains has been found dead in his Seattle home. The partially decomposed body of 34-year-old Layne Staley was discovered Friday night. Medical examiners identified it during an autopsy Saturday. Authorities have not yet released the cause of death. Seattle police say there were no signs of foul play and there was nothing suspicious. AliceinChains was one of the most successful bands of the grunge rock era in the early 1990s.
All right, welcome to a special edition of Loud. This is actually not special at all, nor is it fun. We're going to take the next hour on this program and remember the life and the music of Layne Staley.
Music fans, especially those here in Seattle, are mourning the loss of Layne Staley, lead singer for AliceinChains. Staley was found dead last night in his Seattle area apartment.
Well, this guy's dead. The lead singer of AliceinChains is gone, but everyone knew it was a matter of time. These guys could have made a lot of money, but the lead singer was so effed up.
Another one of those guys.
Yeah.
Couldn't make the cut.
Nah, they beat the odds. They had a hit band, and every time they'd even try and go out on tour, the lead singer was always whacked out on heroin, I guess. Yeah. Someone said they saw him and he had like track marks between his fingers.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like every time you saw him,
bad, yeah.
it was not even hidden.
When your child passes, you lose your baby. You lose your flow. And I get very emotional trying not to do that here. He was very honest with me about drug addiction. He was in and out of treatment 10 times. He was in the emergency room. He probably died 5 times and was revived by friends. And we talked about it. It's terrifying because you can't help. He knew he had the money. He could take the time. He had sponsors. He knew where to go. And the band said, Layne, do whatever you need to do. And